The first time I fell in love, I was 17. It was the kind of love that felt untouched by the weight of experience, untainted by betrayal, unshaken by fear. The kind of love that exists only in youth, when everything is a first, when love is pure, not yet bruised by the reality of human nature. His name was Jake. We met in sophomore year, but we didn't start talking until junior year when he finally noticed me in English class. I was quiet, more interested in books and daydreams than the drama of high school, while he was outgoing, full of energy, and effortlessly charming. He made me laugh in a way that felt new, that made my stomach tighten with excitement. We were inseparable. He was my first kiss, my first love, the first person I ever truly gave myself to. When we first made love, it was awkward and imperfect, but it was ours. It felt sacred, like something neither of us would ever forget. We would stay up late whispering on the phone about the future, making plans that seemed so real at the time. He told me he loved me, and I believed him with every fiber of my being. We had been together for a year when I found out. It was just a kiss, just a moment with another girl at a party. But for a 17-year-old girl who had given everything, it was a dagger straight to the heart. The betrayal was unbearable. I remember the way my hands shook when my best friend told me what she had seen. I remember the feeling of my stomach dropping, like I had been punched in the gut. The confrontation was worse. He didn't deny it. He just stood there, his expression somewhere between shame and indifference, telling me it didn't mean anything. But it meant something to me. It meant the end of my first love. It meant the end of innocence. I cried for weeks. I wanted so desperately for him to fight for me, to tell me I was worth more than a meaningless kiss at a party. But he didn't. And that was when I learned my first lesson about love. It doesn't always come with the respect and loyalty it should. Sometimes it's fragile, easily shattered, and when it breaks, the pieces cut deep. And yet, despite the pain, I still believed in love. I still thought the right person would come along one day, someone who would never hurt me like that. Someone who would love me the way I deserved. I just didn't know yet how many more times I would be wrong. I was 19 when I met Ryan. He was 25, a singer in a metal band that wasn't exactly famous, but in our small scene, he was well known enough to command attention wherever he went. And I was drawn to it. To him, Ryan was different from Jake. He wasn't just another high school boy figuring things out. He had experience, charm, a sharp wit that made every conversation feel like a game I wanted to keep playing. He had a confidence that I mistook for strength, and he had friends. So many friends. Being with him felt like stepping into a new world. We'd go to parties, and everyone would know him. He was the life of the room, and because I was his, I felt like I was part of it. Like his light made me shine too. Looking back, I don't know if I really loved him or if I just loved the way he made me feel. Special, desired, important. But at 19, I thought it was love. I thought it was enough. The first time I suspected he was cheating, I brushed it off. He was popular, girls flirted with him. It didn't mean anything. The second time, it gnawed at me. A late-night message from someone I didn't know, a whispered conversation I wasn't meant to hear. I confronted him once, but he laughed it off, called me paranoid, kissed me until I forgot why I was upset. By the time he asked me to marry him, I had convinced myself that my doubts were just insecurities. That he loved me, that he wanted me. And so I said yes. A year later, we had a baby. We planned it that way. I thought it would make us stronger, that it would solidify us. But I was wrong. When our child was 15 months old, Ryan came home and told me he had been having an affair with a coworker. He didn't know if he loved me anymore, or if it was just sentimentality keeping us together. I begged him to stay. I begged him to make it work. And for months, he let me beg. The divorce was inevitable. Ryan had already moved on, and despite all my pleading, he had no desire to make things right. He told me I was perfect, that I had done nothing wrong, that I deserved better. But his words felt hollow, and they did nothing to erase the pain. I moved back in with my parents, trying to piece my life back together as a single mother. The nights were the hardest, lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering what I had done to deserve this. I had given Ryan everything, just as I had with Jake, and it still wasn't enough. Then I met Adam. It had been a year since my divorce, and I was exhausted. I wanted to feel loved again, wanted to believe that there was someone out there who wouldn't break me. Adam was cute, funny, attentive, everything I thought I needed. I didn't hesitate. I threw myself into the relationship, desperate to make it work. 3 years into our relationship, he proposed. I didn't have the same excitement I had felt with Ryan, but I said yes anyway. I told myself it was different this time, that love didn't have to be passionate or thrilling, it just had to be stable. Safe. But 4 years ago, I found out he had been unfaithful. A coworker, just like Ryan. Except this time, I had proof, messages, photos, undeniable evidence. I packed my things and left. I was determined not to let history repeat itself. But Adam didn't let me go so easily. He begged, pleaded, love-bombed me with apologies and promises. He swore it was a mistake, that he couldn't live without me. And, just like before, I believed him. For 4 years, we lived apart, working things out. And then, this year, we bought a house together. And now, as I sit here, in the home we built together, I feel nothing but emptiness. I should have left. I should have stayed gone. But I didn't know how to break free. And deep down, I feared that maybe this was all I would ever have. Moving back in with Adam was supposed to be a fresh start, a chance to rebuild what had been broken. But the moment the boxes were unpacked, I realized I had made a mistake. The house was beautiful, yet it felt hollow, just like us. I watched him closely, waiting for signs that he had truly changed. But the distance remained. The coldness. The empty words. He held me at night, but his embrace felt like a cage rather than comfort. I had lost count of how many times I had faked happiness, faked satisfaction, faked love. And still, he didn't see me. Or maybe he did and just didn't care. I had thought I was rebuilding my life. Instead, I had walked willingly into another prison.